This is Technology Questions Answered, Episode 4, Operating Systems, Windows, Mac, and Linux Distributions. This is your host, Steve Smith, founder of Z-Axis Productions and Digital Technologies Consultant. Thank you for listening to our fourth episode of Technology Questions Answered, and today's topic, a basic overview of operating systems, Windows, Microsoft, Apple's Macintosh, and Linux. We will talk more in depth about each operating system in later episodes. Microsoft Windows, the most successful company when it comes to operating systems plagued by viruses, spyware, and piracy, easy to develop for, and the most bought platform for computers. It is the most versatile operating system on the market. You can do virtually everything you want to this, modify nearly everything in the user interface, adapt it for the handicapped, make games people can play, and you are guaranteed to have millions of users able to play games, use your applications, and etc. There are thousands of things you can do within the Windows environment. And with the new operating system, Windows 7, it is starting to get very secure, especially if you opt to purchase the 64-bit editions. You can now buy versions of this operating system on the internet through the Microsoft Store and buy hundreds of thousands of great game softwares and add-ons. Apple's Macintosh, in one word, easy. The easiest operating system to use on the market to date. The majority of people's only reason for not using Macintosh is the lack of popular games and software the majority of people are used to. There are several programs you can install to allow for installations of Windows and Linux distributions, like Boot Camp, that make it easier to transition to this type of computer, making the original transition process easier to endure. They are not identical operating systems, and most hardware is not compatible with the Macintosh computers, but all portable hard drives, cameras, and as such, will work regardless. This is the most popular platform for graphic designers and film editors due to the architecture of the system allowing nearly real-time editing. Then there is Linux, the most flexible operating system on the market, and for almost all distributions free. Almost all software is free to use in the Linux world. Anything you need, you can find without paying a cent. This operating system is virtually the most secure due to the requirement to enter user password to install any software, no matter what it is. And did I say you can install Linux on any machine, old or new, and it will run fast too. The most popular versions of Linux are Ubuntu, Debian, and Red Hat. Linux and Macintosh are virtually the same when it comes to the way they are coded, as they both have the same ancestor, Unix. However, this is only true for the version of Macintosh using OS X and higher. Previous versions were based on outdated software. Microsoft, Apple, and Linux operating systems have vulnerabilities. The most common and notable vulnerability is the user. The reason is that users continue to run as administrators on their computers when they should run as limited users. This is how viruses infect most computers. If you run as administrator, when you get infected, it has the administrative rights to the file system. But if you're running as a limited user, it only has limited access, and as a result cannot wreak havoc on your computer's file system. Now forget the Macintosh doesn't have any viruses. They do. It's just extremely rare. The same holds true for Linux systems. The truth about all these operating systems is none of them are absolutely perfect. Software companies shove programs out into the market way too fast, not checking for vulnerabilities, making it extremely important to apply updates to all operating systems, software, and drivers the second they come out to avoid getting infected or hacked. Despite not being perfect, Linux and Macintosh computers have by far fewer viruses and virtually no spyware issues when connected to the internet. Windows machines require antivirus software and anti-spyware software. Linux and Macintosh need none. Although good to have on Macintosh and Linux computers, it is not really dangerous to go around the internet without them installed. Just need to stay away from spoof sites. You can also use a Linux live disk in any computer to surf the internet in total security because viruses and spyware cannot write to the live disk. If anything happens, Simply restart the computer and the session is reset and completely secure. Now, when it comes to getting new software legally for any of these operating systems, it is a very different ballgame for all of them. Microsoft Windows software is sold all over the internet, in almost every store, in almost all magazines, game stores, large surface stores, and so forth. Linux applications can be downloaded for free through the application browser, and adding new sources is as easy as surfing the internet. Apple, that's a different story. You have to go to an Apple certified store or the Apple Store. There aren't as many as people think. I personally have to drive 24 kilometers to the nearest one, and the prices are not all standard. Windows software for applications can range from several dollars to hundreds, some even free. Macintosh software, that depends on the developer. Some can be really expensive because there are fewer buyers. Linux, for the most part, all software is open source and free. There are commercial softwares available, but these are for really specific markets of developers, companies, and organizations. What I'd like to know is your experience for each of these operating systems, questions about usage and transition from one operating system to another, and any commentary. In a few weeks, I will be going through each operating system independently, explaining how to use each one individually. I will explain the operating conditions and prerequisites for installation of each operating system, and I will offer a guide of distributions of Linux in the show notes of this episode until the Linux episode. Next week, we'll be talking about advanced encryption techniques, and I shall be posting screenshots of each step in the next episode's show notes. Please head over to our website, and in these show notes, select the suggested software installs. Install them so you can follow step by step how to hide your documents from all prying eyes. A very good technique to prevent airport security, thieves, other family members, local, state, provincial, and government agencies from seeing sensitive files on your hard drives. This will, at the very least, make it very hard for anyone to see what you do not want them to find. If you have any questions, comments, or stories, you may find all the necessary contact information or list of sources, software, hardware suggestions on our website at www.zedaxis.net, as well as a list of important podcasts you should also listen to. And we have a brand new message board for our new podcasts where you can all interact with us, make comments, suggestions, view others' comments and questions as well. I look forward to interacting with all of you online on our website and message board. Till next time, this has been a podcast hosted by Steve Smith, Digital Technologies Consultant for ZAXIS Productions. Stay safe and online. This has been Technology Questions Answered. This show was recorded using Audacity, an open source sound recorder and editor. Head over to audacity.sourceforge.net and support Audacity by donating or buying exclusive merchandise, or head over to our website and view the links in the show notes of this episode. This show was recorded on October 10th, 2010, and is now available on iTunes and our website at www.zedaxis.net.